And as the cost of living continues to climb and bills continue to mount, more and more people are turning to prenups, prenuptial agreements, to help them from being saddled with someone else's debt.
Well, Kevin Kaspers, Senior Associate Lawyer at Schulman & Partners, LLP, joined us live this morning to talk more about this. Kevin, a lot of people sort of think prenup is a dirty word, hard to bring up potentially when you're about to get married and thinking you're going to spend the rest of your life together. But there is some really significant financial risk as you enter into a marriage, and effectively you're talking about protecting yourself from that risk.
Exactly. There is a lot of negative connotations that surround prenuptial agreements or marriage contracts or cohabitation agreements, in the idea that it's preparing for some inevitable end to the relationship. But in fact, it can be very useful in protecting the parties from protracted separation, litigation, these kinds of things, by outlining how they intend to treat their assets, their debts, in the case that their relationship does end and they do end up separating.
And Kevin, I'm curious to know how you guys acquired this data to show that the trend is now getting a prenup to protect from debt rather than protect from wealth.
It's not a science. We are just noticing a trend in the types of clients and requests we get, where traditionally prenuptial agreements, marriage contracts were requested for purposes of protecting assets, for protecting property and these kinds of things, maybe gifted or inheritances. But in this case, we're starting to see requests to protect from debt, to protect from student debt or debt that's acquired during the relationship. So we're starting to see that kind of request, and marriage contracts being used for both the purposes of protection of assets as well as protection from debt.
Kevin, it's interesting, you talk about full financial disclosure here. What happens, though, if you're in a relationship, whether it's cohabitation or a marriage, thinking about getting separated, and you aren't actually aware of your partner's actual full financial picture? Is it too late at that point?
It's never too late. And really, the base to any sort of marriage contract, separation agreement, is going to be full and financial disclosure. Listen, some couples in marriages, relationships, common law, they arrange their affairs a certain way where one partner may be responsible for taking care of the finances and the other partner is comfortable with that. At the time of separation, it's a very different circumstance, and both parties are entitled to be fully informed, fully aware of what the financial circumstances are, what the assets and debts of either party are, in order to make an informed decision. It's important for both parties to know what their obligations and rights are without a contract, so that they know what they want to include in a marriage contract and what they are potentially giving up or getting as a result of this contract.
Okay, very interesting stuff. Kevin Kaspers, Senior Associate Lawyer at Schulman & Partners, LLP. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Thanks, Kevin.